The Apostle Paul in early Islamic exegesis. Surah Yasin, 36:13-14. And present to them an example, the people of the city, when the messengers came to it, when we sent to them two but they denied them, so we strengthened them with a third, and they said, Indeed, we are messengers to you. Sahih International. Tafsir al-Quran al-Adham, by Ibn Abi Hatim, D. 327h. Darju al-Darar fi Tafsir al-Ayayi wal-Suwar, al-Jurjani, D. 471h. Mu'allim al-Tanzil fi Tafsir al-Quran, Tafsir al-Baghai, D. 510h. Tafsir Mujama al-Bayan fi Tafsir Quran, by al-Tabarasi, D. 548. Tafsir Tzad al-Masir fi ilm al-Tafsir, by Ibn Jawzi, D. 597h. Tadkara al-Arib fi Tafsir al-Ghurab, Ghurab al-Quran al-Karim, al-Jawzi, D. 597h. Tafsir al-Jami liladim al-Quran, by Imam al-Qurtubi, D. 671h. Libab al-Tawil fi Ma'ani al-Tanzil, by Imam Bal-Hazan, 741h. Tafsir al-Quran al-Adham, by al-Hafid ibn Kathir, d. 774h. Qisas al-Anbiya by Ibn Kathir, d. 774h, Volume 1 page 575. Al-Bidayah wal-Nihayat, Ibn Kathir, d. 774, Volume 2 page 119. Al-Bab fi Ulam al-Kitab, by Abu Hafs al-Hanbali al-Naimani, d. 775h. Al-Tadhil li Sharh al-Jami' al-Sahih, by Ibn al-Malakan, 804h. Kitab al-Muwaidh wal Tibar, by al-Muqarizi, d. 845, Volume 3 page 262. Fath al-Bari Sharh Sahih Bukhari, by Ibn Hajar Asqalani, d. 852h. Al-Dar al-Manthur fil Tafsir bil Ma Thursday, by Jalal al-Din Suyuti, d. 911h. Tafsir Sadar al-Mutalayan, by al-Shirazi, d. 1059h. Tafsir Fath al-Qadir, al-Shawkani, d. 1250h. Tafsir Ruh al-Ma'ani, Imam al-Alusi, d. 1270h. Al-Tafsir al-Maraki, by Ahmad bin Mustafa al-Maraki, d. 1371h. Tafsir al-Tarar wal-Tanvir, by Ibn Ashur, d. 1393h. Muqtasar ibn Kathir, by al-Sabani Volume 6, page 276. Al-Tafsir al-Hadith Murattab Hasab Tartib al-Nuzul. Tafsir al-Quran al-Adham, by Ibn Abi Hatim, d. 327h. 18050, Shu'ab al-Jaba'i said, the names of the two messengers where it is said, we sent to them two, are Simon and John. And the name of the third is Paul. Ad-Dar 57ths. Islamport.com. From Shu'ab al-Jaba'i, he said, the name of the messengers, who said, when we have sent them two, are Simon and John, and the name of the third is Paul. Islamport.com. Darju al-Darar fi Tafsir al-Ayayi wal-Suwar, al-Jurjani, d. 471h. By Abu Bakr Abd al-Kahir al-Jurjani ad-Dar, d. 471h. The people of the city, is the people of Antioch. This is narrated by Qatada and Ikrimah from Tabari in his Tafsir, 19/413. And Abdul Razak in his Tafsir, 2/140. When we sent to them two, on the reign of Isa, upon him peace, they are Thomas and Paul. Mentioned in Tzad al-Masir, 10/7, from Muqatil. Islamport.com. Mu'allim al-Tanzil fi Tafsir al-Quran, Tafsir al-Baghai, d. 510h. By Imam Hussein bin Mas'ud al-Baghai al-Shafi'i, d. 510h. Quran 36:14. When we sent to them two but they denied them, so we strengthened them with a third, and they said, Indeed, we are messengers to you. When we sent to them two, Wahab said, their names are John and Paul, but they denied them, so we strengthened them, means, we strengthened, with a third messenger, and he was Simon. And Abu Bakr read from Asim, so we strengthened them by alleviating, which is in the first sense, such as you're saying, we have emphasized and stressed by reducing and strengthening. And it is said, we have overcome their words, from the best of good. And Ka'ab said, the two prophets are Siddiq and Saduk, and the third is Shalom, but Allah added the sending to him, because Eesa, upon him peace, sent them by his command of Allah, and they said, all of them to the people of Antioch, indeed, we are messengers to you. Islamport.com. Tafsir al-Bagha'i is generally classified as one of the books of narration-based tafsir, as it collects and presents many statements from the Sahaba and Tabi'un. The book primarily relies on 11 reliable chains of narrations, which al-Bagha'i mentions in the introduction to his work. Tafsir Mujama al-Bayan fi Tafsir Quran, by al-Tabarasi, d. 548h. It is said, the meaning for what is mentioned, people of the city, this city is Antioch in the statement of the commentators. When messengers came to it, that is when Allah sent messengers to them, when we sent to them too, any messengers from our messengers, they denied them both, that is they lied to the two messengers, Ibn Abbas said, they beat and imprisoned them. So we strengthened them with a third, in other words, we have divided them and increased their appearance with a third messenger taken from the pride, namely strength, and prevention, from which they say that anyone who has been defeated is a usurper. Shu'aibah said, the names of the two messengers were Simon and John and the name of the third was Paul. Ibn Abbas and Ka'ab said, Siddiq and Saduk, and the third was Shalom. And it was said, they were the messengers of Eesa and they were disciples. And Wahab and Ka'ab said, but rather the Almighty added to them by himself because Eesa sent them by his command, indeed we are messengers to you, meaning that they said to them, O people of the city, Allah has sent us to you. Altafsir.com. Tafsir Tzad al-Masir fi ilm al-Tafsir, by Ibn Jawzi, d. 597h. The Almighty said, and present to them an example, means, describe for the people of Mecca, for example, likeness. Al-Zajjaj said, meaning, a representative of, the people of the city, represented a similar example to him, as opposed to a proverb, as if he said, mention the village owners to them. Ikrimah and Qatada said, this city is Antioch. When we sent to them too, and in the names there are three statements. First, Ibn Abbas and Ka'ab said, Siddiq and Saduk. Second, Wahab bin Munabah said, John and Paul. Third, Muqatil said, Thomas and Paul. The Mufassirun, commentators differed as to who sent the two messengers. The first of them, that Allah Almighty sent them. It is apparent from the Quran, and it is narrated by Ibn Abbas, Ka'ab, and Wahab. The second of them, that Eesa sent them. This may be added to Allah Almighty because they are the messengers of His messenger. Qatada and Ibn Jurayj said this. Islamport.com. Altafsir.com. Tadkara al-Arib fi Tafsir al-Gharib, al-Jawzi, d. 597h. By Jamal al-Din Muhammad al-Jawzi, d. 597h. 13 and, the city, is Antioch. 14, 2, their names are John and Paul, we strengthened, with strength, with a third, and his name is Simon. Ka'ab said Allah sent them, Qatada said they were messengers of Eesa. Islamport.com. Tafsir al-Jami lil-Ulum al-Quran, by Imam al-Qurtubi, d. 671h. Quran 61:14. O you who have believed, be supporters of Allah, as when Jesus, the son of Mary, said to the disciples, who are my supporters for Allah? The disciples said, we are supporters of Allah. And a faction of the children of Israel believed and a faction disbelieved. So we supported those who believed against their enemy, and they became dominant. It was said, this verse came down in regard to the apostles of Eesa, peace be upon him. Ibn Ishaq said, Esa sent them from the apostles and followers of Peter and Paul to Rome, Andrew walked to the land where its people ate people, and Thomas to the land of Babylon from the land of the east, Philips to Cartagena, which is Africa, and Jonas to Dacus the village of the people of the cave. Jacob is to Jerusalem, the house of the holy, and Ibn Talma to the Arabia, which is the land of the Hijaz, and Simon to the land of the Berbers, and Judea and Bardash to Alexandria and its surroundings. Allah supported them with argument. They became visible, i.e. high. From your saying, anyone who is on the wall has appeared on the wall. Allah Almighty knows what is right. Quran.ksu.edu.sa Libab al-Tawil fi Ma'ani al-Tanzil, 741h. By Abu Hassan al-Maruf Bal-Hazan. D 741. When we sent to them too, but they rejected them, Wahab said, their names are John and Paul. Ka'ab said Sadduq, so we strengthened them with a third, i.e. we were strengthened by a third messenger, and he was Simon, and it is said Shalem. Rather, Allah Almighty added the message to him because Esa, upon him blessing and peace, sent them, with the permission of Allah Almighty, so they said, the apostles are all to the people of Antioch. Islamport.com. Tafsir al-Quran al-Adham, by al-Hafid ibn Kathir, D 774h. And his statement, when we sent to them two messengers, they denied them both, means, they hastened to disbelieve in them. So we reinforced them with a third, means, we supported and strengthened them with a third messenger. Ibn Jurayy narrated from Wahab bin Sulaiman, from Shu'ab al-Jaba, i.e., the names of the first two messengers were Simon and John, and the name of the third was Paul, and the city was Antioch. Quran.ksu.edu.sa Quran 36:14. When we sent to them two but they denied them, so we strengthened them with a third, and they said, indeed, we are messengers to you. When we sent to them two messengers, they denied them both, means, they hastened to disbelieve in them. So we reinforced them with a third, means, we supported and strengthened them with a third messenger. Ibn Jurayy narrated from Wahab bin Sulaiman, from Shu'aib al-Jaba'i, the names of the first two messengers were Shamoun and Yohanna, and the name of the third was Bulus, and the city was Antioch, Antiochia. And they said, means, to the people of that city, verily, we have been sent to you as messengers, meaning, from your Lord who created you and who commands you to worship him alone with no partners or associates. This was the view of Abu al-Aliyah. Qatada bin Di'ama claimed that they were messengers of the Messiah, peace be upon him, sent to the people of Antioch. Quranx.com. Qasas al-Anbiya by Ibn Kathir, D 774h, Volume 1, page 575. Section mentioning the status of Esa, upon him peace, and his virtues. And one who believed in the Messiah and believed him from the people of Damascus was a man who was called Dina and was hiding in a cave inside the eastern door close to the solid church for fear of the Jew Paul, and he was unjust and oppressive, with hatred for the Messiah, and when he came to him, he shaved the head of his nephew when he believed in the Messiah and roared him in the country and then stoned him until he died, Allah's mercy be upon him. When Paul heard that the Messiah had gone to Damascus, he prepared a mule and went out to kill him, and he received it at Kokheba. When he faced the companions of the Messiah, an angel came to him, and he hid his face at the end of his wing, so when he saw that he fell, he believed the Messiah, and came to him and apologized for what he did and believed in him, and he accepted it. And he asked him to wipe his eyes so that God would return his sight to him. He said, "Go to our city in Damascus, at the end of the rectangular market of the east." He called you and came to him and returned to him his eyesight. And Paul had solid faith in the Messiah, upon him peace, that he is a slave of Allah and his messenger. Islamport.com. Al-Bidayah wal-Nihaya, by Ibn Kathir, D 774, Volume 2 page 119. When Paul heard that the Messiah, upon him peace, had gone to Damascus, he prepared his mules and went out to kill him, and he received it at Kokheba. And when he confronted the companions of the Messiah, an angel came to him and hid his face with the tip of his wing. He blinded him. So when he saw that himself, he believed in the Messiah. So he came to him and apologized for what he had done and believed in him, so he accepted him and asked him to wipe his eyes so that God would return his sight to him. He said, "Go to our guest in Damascus at the end of the rectangular market of the east, he calls for you." He came to him and returned to him his eyesight, and Paul had strong faith in the Messiah, upon him peace, that he is a slave of Allah and his messenger. And a church was built in his name, the church of Paulus, famous in Damascus, from the time it was opened by the companions, may Allah bless them, until it was destroyed. Islamport.com. Al-Bab fi Ulam al-Kitab, by Abu Hafs al-Hanbali al-Naimani, D 775H. We sent to them two, Wahab said, their names are John and Paul. But they denied them, so we strengthened them, with a third messenger, and he is Simon, and Wahab said, the two messengers are Siddiq and Saduk, and the third Shalom. And Allah added the message to him, because EESA, upon him blessing peace, sent them with his, Almighty's, command. Islamport.com. And Zayd bin Ali and Qatada said, and they became dominant. Quran 61:14, dominant with arguments and proofs, because they said in what was narrated, do you not know that EESA was sleeping, Allah does not sleep, and that EESA was eating, and Allah Almighty does not eat? And it is said, this verse was revealed regarding the messengers of EESA, upon him peace and blessings. Ibn Ishaq said, EESA sent them from the apostles and followers, Peter and Paul to Rome, and Andrew and Matthew to the land whose people eat people, Thomas to the land of Babylon from the land of the east, Philip to Cartagena which is Africa, and Jonas to Doxus village of the people of the cave, and Jacob to Jerusalem which is the holy house, and Ibn Tilma to Arabia which is the land of Hijaz, and Simon to the land of Barber, and Judah, to and around Alexandria. Allah supported them with proofs, and they became dominant, i.e. high, from his saying, I appeared on the wall, that is, I raised it. Islamport.com. Al-Tadhil li Sharh al-Jami al-Sahih, 804H. By Ibn al-Malakan Siraj al-Din al-Shafi'i al-Masri, D 804H. Chapter, and present to them an example, the people of the city, when messengers came to it, when we sent them to, but they denied them. The city, as Ikrimah and others mentioned, is Antioch. Suhaili said, it was attributed to Antinphus, and it is the name that he built it in, which was changed when it was Arabized, refer to, Mubahamat al-Quran by al-Balnasai 2/393. The people of knowledge differed concerning these messengers. On the authority of Qatada, two of the apostles were sent by EESA from the disciples. But they denied them, so we strengthened them with a third, and this was mentioned by Ibn Abbas and Muqatil. And Wahab said, Antioch was the pharaoh of pharaohs, so Allah sent him three, Siddiq, Saduk, and Salam, according to Ibn Jurayr, refer to, Mujam al-Buldan. And others said, two then three. Ibn al-Tin said, this is the view of al-Jama'ah. Muqatil said, they are Thomas and Paul, and the third one that comes is Simon, who was from the disciples and guardian of EESA, prayers and peace be upon him. Ibn Abbas said, Allah made them prophets after EESA. Suhaili mentioned about them, John, Tafsir at-Tabari, 10/431, 29084. Islamport.com. Kitab al-Muwaidh wal Tibar, by al-Muqarrizi, D 845, Volume 3, page 262. Paul of Tarsus marched to Damascus and the land of Rome 9 years after the lifting of the Messiah, and John transferred him to the Romans. Matthew was killed in Cartagena in the 18th year after many people responded to him. And Jacob the son of Hapha went to the country of India, and returned to Jerusalem, and was killed in the 10th of Amshar. And Judah the son of Jacob marched from Antioch to the island, and many people believed in him and died in the 2nd of Aviv. Simon marched to Samatad, Aleppo, Manbij, and Byzantium and was killed in the 7th of Aviv. Midas marched to the land of the east and was killed in 18 Baramhat. Paul of Tarsus marched to Damascus and to Rome and the Romans, and was killed on the 5th of Aviv. 70 other messengers also dispersed in the country, and many of them believed them. Islamport.com. Fath al-Bari Sharh Sahih Bukhari, by Ibn Hajar Asqalani, d. 852h. Chapter, Regarding the People of the City, Volume 6, page 467. The name of the three apostles, Siddiq, Saduk and Shalem. Ibn Jurayy said from Wahab ibn Sulaiman from Shu'aib al-Jaba'i, the name of the messengers was Simon and John, and the name of the third is Paul. And from Qatada they were messengers from the Messiah. And Allah knows best. Islamport.com. Al-Dar al-Manthur fil Tafsir bil Ma Thursday, by Jalal al-Din Suyuti, d. 911h. Reported by Fariabi from Ibn Abbas, Allah be pleased with them, on the verse, and present to them an example, the people of the city, he said, it is Antioch. Reported by Ibn Abi Hatim from Buraidah, people of the city, he said, Antioch. Reported by Abd bin Hamid and Ibn Jurayy and Ibn Mundar from Ikrimah, Allah be pleased with them, on the verse, the people of the city when the messengers came to it, he said, Antioch. Islamport.com. And Ibn Abi Hatim reported from Shu'aib al-Jaba'i, he said, the name of the messengers where it is said, we sent them to, are Simon and John. The name of the third is Paul. Reported by Al-Fariabi and Abd bin Hamid and Ibn Jurayy and Ibn Mundar and Ibn Abi Hatim from Mujahid, Allah be pleased with him, on the verse, so we strengthened with the third, attenuated. Reported by Ibn Mundar from Said ibn Jubair, Allah be pleased with him, on the verse, when we sent to them too. He said, the name of the third with which he was strengthened, Simon son of John, and the third was Paul. They were horrified that all three were killed. Islamport.com. Tafsiru Tafsir Sadar al-Mutalayan, by al-Shirazi, d. 1059h. Shu'aba said, the names of the first two messengers were Simon and John. The name of the third was Paul. Ibn Abbas and Ka'ab said, the first two were Siddiq and Saduk and the third was Shalem. They said to them, O people of the city, Allah has sent us to you. Al-Tafsir.com. Tafsir Fath al-Qadir, by al-Shawkani, d. 1250h. That is, we showed you strange situations that are as strange as proverbs, for what the Almighty said here, and present to them an example, two things can be considered in it. Al-Qurtubi said that this village is Antioch. This is the opinion of all the Mufassirin, interpreters. And his word, when the messengers came to it, apart from the people of the city, and the messengers are the companions of Esa, he sent them to the people of Antioch to call them to Allah. And Allah Almighty added the message himself in his saying, when we sent to them too, because Esa sent them with the command of Allah the Almighty. And it is possible Allah sent them after Esa was raised to heaven. They lied to them in the letter, and it was said that they beat them, and imprisoned them. It was said, and the name of the two was John and Simon. The names of the three were said to be Siddiq, Musadduq, and Shalem, as stated by Ibn Jarir and others. And it is said Simon and John and Paul, we strengthened with the third, as is read by the majority with emphasis. Islamport.com. Tafsir Ruh al-Ma'ani, by Imam al-Alusi, d. 1270h. In his message to the Roman king, the Apostle Paul said, the Spirit testifies to our souls that we are the children and loved ones of Allah, among others. Islamport.com. Al-Tafsir al-Maraki, by Ahmad bin Mustafa al-Maraki, d. 1371h. It is well known that the first two messengers were John and Paul, and the third messenger is Simon. Then he mentioned a doubt, often denounced by the liars of the apostles of past nations. They said, you are not but human beings like us, and the Most Merciful has not revealed a thing. You are only telling lies. 36:15. Islamport.com. Tafsir al-Tarar Waltanvir, by Ibn Ashur, d. 1393h. Surah 36:15. They said, you are not but human beings like us, and the Most Merciful has not revealed a thing. You are only telling lies. The people of Antioch and the neighboring cities were a mixture of Jews and followers of idols from Greece. And he said, you are only human beings like us. It is valid to come from idol worshippers, and it is apparent that they think the gods do not send the apostles and do not inspire anyone. So it is stated in the book of Acts of the Apostles that some Greeks are the people of the city, Lystra. They saw a miracle from the prophet Paul, and they said in a Greek tongue, the gods were like people and came down to us. They were called Barnabas, Zeus, that is, Jupiter, and Hermes, that is Mercury, and the priest of Zeus came to them with oxen to slaughter before them and wreaths to put on them. When they saw that, Paul and Barnabas tore their clothes apart and cried, we are human beings like you, we preach to you to return from these falsehoods to the living God who created the heavens and the earth, etc. Islamport.com. Tafsir al-Tarar Waltanvir, by Ibn Ashur, d. 1393h. Surah 36:18. They said, indeed, we consider you a bad omen. If you do not desist, we will surely stone you, and there will surely touch you, from us, a painful punishment. If you do not desist, we will surely stone you, and there will surely touch you, from us, a painful punishment. And thus, Paul, and Barnabas, turned to get out of Antioch, went out to Iconia and appeared dignified. Paul appeared in Iconia and then in Lystra, and then Derbe. In each of these cities, the Jews still persecuted the apostles, persecuted them, provoked people, and followed them into every country where they would settle in order to riot against them. They touched them with torment and harm, and Paul was thrown in the city of Lystra, until they thought he was dead. Islamport.com. Tafsir al-Tarar Waltanvir, by Ibn Ashur, d. 1393h. Surah 61:14. It is intended to say, and a faction of the children of Israel believed and a faction disbelieved, to preface his statement, we supported those who believed against their enemy, and they became dominant, and supported them with victory and strengthened them. God supported the people of Christianity and many of those who followed Christianity by the calling of the apostles and their followers such as Paul. Islamport.com. Muqtasar Ibn Kathir, by Al-Sabani, Volume 6, page 276. The Almighty said, when we sent to them 2 messengers, they denied them both, means, they hastened to disbelieve in them. So we reinforced them with a 3rd, means, we supported and strengthened them with a 3rd messenger. Ibn Jurayj said, the names of the first 2 messengers were Simon and John, and the name of the 3rd was Paul, and the city was Antioch. Ibn Kathir said, Qatada claimed that they were the apostles of the Messiah to the people of Antioch. Islamport.com. Al-Tafsir al-Hadith Muratab Hasab Tartib al-Nuzul, by Daruza Mohammad Azad. And what was narrated by the commentators attributed to the scholars of the Tabi'in in connection with the story of the apostles, recounted by the verses, that the city to which the name was referred to is the village of Antioch, al-Tagar al-Shami, in northern Syria. And the messengers were John and Paul and Simon from the disciples of Isa, upon him peace, and sent them to call and preach. And that the believing man was Habib al-Nayyar. They have made many statements about the apostles' message and their attempts with the pagans in the city and their miracles in reviving the dead, creating a bird of mud, healing the lepers. The pagans killed our beloved and were stubborn with the apostles, and so on. Refer to the interpretation of the verses from the books of Tafsir of Tabari, Ibn Kathir, Al-Tabarisi, Al-Zamakhshari, and Al-Hazan for example. Islamport.com.